Hey, Sean, the studio has changed once again, the gear that I'm using and setting up and the way that I'm recording these YouTube videos, so I wanted to give you a quick tour of what I'm using, lights, monitors, cameras, microphones, etc., to give you an idea if you're trying to do something similar, what works for me over the course of the years as this has evolved. So to get things started, let me grab my little phone so I can direct you around here. The first thing is my A7S III. I've been using the Sony A7S III for a while. I absolutely love it. I have it in a Tilta matte box. A lot of times the matte box I think doesn't matter. I don't think it makes a huge difference in a lot of cases. However, in here I have so many lights that are close enough to the camera that it does actually wash out if I take the matte box off. So having the matte box, because the key light right there is right next to it, where you can see if it weren't on there, that lens would absolutely be picking up that light right into it. So same with my overhead lights, matte box goes a long way. Next up, I have my monitor, which is the Focus 7, and this is the Teradek system. I have the other one up there, the Focus 5. That's the transmitter, this is the receiver. I'm actually running it not wirelessly right now, it's running through this HDMI cable, so the battery lasts a lot longer. But I always use this monitor because it's a little bigger and I love it, and I have mounted it on the camera before, but I really like putting it off to the side. That way if I glance at it, it's not quite as obvious as like looking just up over the camera, it's sort of looking down. For audio, most of the time I end up using this Deity D3 Pro, Deity V-Mic D3 Pro. This thing is fantastic. I've been really impressed with it and the quality of everything, especially compared to the VideoMic Pros. But the fact that this records straight into camera without needing anything else is really convenient. I do have a Zoom F6 that I can run my AT2020 into, or if I'm doing mic tests like the NTG3 and stuff like that, I'll run that into the Zoom F6. But for the most part, this little Deity does a fantastic job. I put it on a C-stand, it's just out of frame, and it sounds fantastic. Now, for lighting, I've evolved my setup a lot recently, and I'm using really two different kinds of lights. Now my key light has an aperture lantern as its diffusion on it, but the actual light is the Hive 200CX. Now the 200CX is slightly cheaper than the 200C, and in exchange, there's no actual controls on the back to control the light. It's all done via Bluetooth, which for me, most of the time, that's way easier. So right now I have it set to daylight, but with this app, I can go to sunrise, daylight, overcast, winter, golden hour, moonlight, and then beyond that I can do any number of colors. Really any color can be produced by this light, and I really appreciate that, and it's all controlled with the app, which makes things very simple. So my key light is the Hive 200CX going into the aperture lantern. Next up, my seamless background is lit by two Quasar daylight tubes, and these are just put on these stands held with Mayfer clamps. They're powered, they don't have dimmers or anything on them, but these two lights, let's see if I can go wider, but these two lights run the whole background. And then overhead, my hair and shoulder light is the Quasar Rainbow, and for this video I have it set to just daylight, but I also like switching it to some different colors. Especially blue, I feel like that looks kind of cool, adding a little bit of style, still keeping the separation from the background with the actual hair and shoulder light, but making it a little bit more colorful. So when you zoom out and look at it, the studio is in my office here. I've got my guitar, my pictures from Burkina Faso on the wall. I've got all my outfits that I've been changing into as I record like 10 different YouTube videos today. But I've got my hair light, I've got my background lights, I've got my key light, I've got my microphone and my A7 III with my small HD monitor. And lately I've been putting an iPad, which is turned off, but I've been putting an iPad on screen with my notes and my outline for the different videos so that I can keep myself on topic and make sure that I don't ramble too much. So that's my studio, that's my setup. We will see how it changes and evolves over the next months, weeks, years. I tend to be really picky about my lights and how easy they are to set up versus how good they are of the actual light quality that hits, and I am loving this Hive and the way that it works and the colors that it can do, and I'm loving this Quasar Rainbow, but we will see in the future what ends up changing if I light my background differently, if I add some other things, if I add a fill light in some sort of way or a card. I will let you know as that changes, but this is what I'm using for now and I really, really like it. Thanks for watching. See you later, bye.